Good afternoon from a sun-drenched Cheney Stadium here in Tacoma, Washington. As we're heading down the tail end of the USL Championship regular season, Tacoma Defiance playing host to Portland Timbers 2 here on ESPN+. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Andrew Harvey, alongside Dave Clark on the call for you for today's match. We certainly hope today's broadcast finds you and all your loved ones safe, happy, and healthy. And Dave, Tacoma back at home after a 71-day, 9-match road trip that did not treat them kindly.
No, it was a rough time on the road there for Tacoma Defiance. Talking to Coach Chris Little over the past week, they all were looking forward to coming home for this 3 matches here at Cheney Stadium this week with a nice Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday set to end the 2020 season.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, as we turn our attention to today's match, these are two teams that know each other quite well. Historically, they know each other even better this season. This is the 5th meeting between the two, and certainly plenty of players to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to focus on Marcus Epps for T2, the Timbers 2 player. He's on a hot streak. He has 3 goals in his last 3 games, 1 in each of them. Plus, he demonstrated the wide play that Portland Timbers 2 used to so much effect against Defiance just last week down there in Portland. He and Harold Hansen really used those wide channels quite well against Tacoma, so we'll need to see Anthony Burke as well as Alex Villanueva in good form today.
On the other side of things, Danny Robles provided the lone consolation for Tacoma on the road last week, scoring that goal in a 3-1 loss last Thursday down at Providence Park.
He scored that goal, and he looks strong doing it. He's had a great performance so far this season as the number 10 for Tacoma Defiance. Has a little bit of defense up there, as well as 3 goals and 2 assists on the year.
One of a number of players that we'll want to be keeping our eye on. Time now for the multi-care pre-match health report, and it's good news in this case, Dave. No one listed with any injuries.
Yeah, it's my favorite type of health report when you can just say that there are no injuries, giving Coach Chris Little and his staff the option to put out whoever they want on the day.
Let's take a look now at the starting 11. Up first for the visiting Portland Timbers 2, and not too many changes from that side that had success against Tacoma last Thursday.
Yeah, very familiar side. These two teams know each other better than they should at this point in the season, facing off in the restart as well as now twice within just a few days.
And turning our attention to Tacoma, Chris Little, a couple of changes on his end, most notably the man up top.
Yeah, Alfonso Ocampo Chavez gets the start. He and Alec Diaz are rotating on the year. You're going to see both of them today.
Getting set to go here. Your referee for today's match is Farad Dodko, assistant referees Cephas Kortson and Christian Clark. Babacar Jallo, the 4th official.
And he was the center referee when they met on Thursday night.
Yeah, so if either coach has any leftover grievances, he might be getting an earful over the span of 90 minutes today.
These two rivals have met 21 times in USL Championship history, and they can be fierce. They are... I think we saw one match with 8 yellow cards previously this year. There was plenty of hard fouling late in the match on Thursday night. The two teams know each other well and carry a rivalry that stretches from Academy, USL Championship, and at the MLS level.
Yeah, certainly seen some great contests between these two clubs here at Cheney Stadium and, of course, back at Starfire in years past. And two sides that certainly know how to draw out the best of one another, even though both teams have been eliminated from playoff contention.
They're still going to play for pride. The standings between the two are tight.
Pause now for the playing of our national anthem. Anthem's finished, and players remaining on a knee as the USL players and league alike are united against racism. And we are underway here at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington. Like we said before, this is the 5th meeting between these two sides. 2 wins apiece so far, and barring last Thursday, all shutouts, but typically high-scoring affairs between these two sides this season.
The winner of each match this year has scored at least 3 goals.
Tacoma in black with white trunks, moving from right to left on your screen here in the first half. Portland in all white, headed back the other way. Long throw, looking for Ikoba up the side.
Abdoulaye Sissoko has done a strong job this year developing into a starting center back with Tacoma Defiance. You'll see him range forward throughout the match.
Stanley, long throw there. Sissoko in on the header. Tap down there, they're looking for Epps. Sissoko slides in, wins the ball away. Well, anytime you leave your feet inside the penalty area, Dave, you have to be absolutely certain he was there. Good tackle.
It's a good tackle. The outlet pass Alfonso Ocampo Chavez couldn't quite run onto.
Long ball over the top. Ikoba giving chase as well as Epps. Too long. Now this is a strong Portland attack that'll be coming at the Tacoma back line today. Ikoba up there. Epps, who we called out pregame. Of course, Jorge Gonzalez had a brace in that match last week. One from the penalty spot.
He's been quite effective against Tacoma Defiance this season. And it looks like Defiance is not going to go with the short reset, but instead have Klonowski clear it out.
Klonowski in on loan from Toronto FC2. It's kind of a mutually beneficial situation. Came in earlier this month on that loan. Just some difficulties there have been with teams north of the border, south of Bowder. Klonowski himself from New Jersey. He is American. And Tacoma was in need of a keeper, so he slots right in. What have you made of him so far for Tacoma, Dave?
He's a long, lanky frame, can be quick to go down, good range. Faced a few too many shots, though, to have the type of success that Coach Little and Chris Ford, or Josh Ford would like to see from him.
Alfonso Ocampo Chavez trying to run onto that ball. And as Farad Dotko pointed to the spot here, Salt came off his line, seems to have won the ball well.
He looks to be having a discussion with his linesman.
I didn't see the flag go up for offside. Definitely does not appear to be a penalty. And he's restarting with a drop ball. Farad Dotko restarting with the drop ball after what I believe he was terming an inadvertent whistle. You saw the hands on the chest there, that universal "my bad." I think he was maybe certain that he did see something that on retrospect and interaction with assistant referee Cephas Courtson on the far sideline, nothing worth giving. Well, that would have been a big change early in this match.
No video assistant referee here, but at least they had the discussion.
That was quickly resolved. Here's Aaron Malloy.
Excellent entry ball.
Here's Aiden Stanley. Plenty of space here. Sissoko goes to ground, blocks the low cross. Clapier. Tracked along the far side by Ray Serrano. And double air pops that ball over the top. The flag immediately up against Alfonso Ocampo Chavez. Both those players, AOC and double air, the only players out here on contracts with the MLS side Seattle Sounders FC. Down here to get some more minutes and development, and both of them, despite those MLS contracts, very young players, Dave.
Yeah, the two of them are just teenagers, younger than several of their Tacoma Defiance players, teammates.
Well, certainly this is an organization that from top to bottom believes if you're good enough, you're old enough. Not uncommon to see 14-year-olds playing with the U17 academy sides.
Quick little scan. Outside of Klonowski, there are only 2 others that are more than 20. One of those is Taylor Mueller, more than 30.
Skews the average a little bit. But, you know, that's kind of the role he was brought in to fulfill for this Tacoma side this season, to be that seasoned veteran center back presence. Over 250 appearances for Charleston Battery in his career over there. Now a long throw up the side. Sissoko has picked his man's pocket once again. Partial clearance there, further away from Ikoba. And Tacoma, solid tackles in the back end, but the clearance is not quite coming off for them so far across these first 6 minutes, Dave.
Yeah, this was one of the troubles that Tacoma had when they were down in Portland last week on Thursday. Their midfield just wasn't having the possession and wasn't able to take the strong defense and convert it into attacking opportunities.
Gone back there for Hunter Salt. Salt with a 1-6 record to his name this season. That first win was on Thursday against Tacoma. Here's Epps. Close down, gone wide for Harold Hansen. Hansen surging forward, fighting against Sissoko. It's gone out for a goal kick.
That was good movement by A.B. Sissoko, coming well out. He's the right center back on the day, but shutting down Harold Hansen on that left flank was quite strong. He and Mueller communicating well on that switch.
Ball work to Villanueva on the near side, sent down the touchline, and eventually it curls out of play. Villanueva, another new face to this Tacoma side, of course, Sounders Academy product, and signed recently these last couple months.
And it's okay if you're watching and you're confused by what Villanueva's position is, because he was a winger with the academy, and you've seen him at left back and right back as a starter, as a sub. He started one match as a winger as well.
Certainly not afraid to move players around. You have to think that Anthony Burke, who's on the ball right now, might be one of the best examples of that. Came in here, got some runs as a winger last year, and then, of course, after some troubles getting Denzo Ulysses now with Inter Miami CF on the field, Burke slotted back in. Now he's a fullback by trade.
Yeah, and that's something that's organizational. You saw Nick Hines do that. You saw DeAndre Yedlin do it back when he was at the academy. He was a number 10 and eventually moved to a right back.
Here's Gonzalez doing battle with Villanueva. Villanueva feels he was fouled, but it's gone out for a corner. First of the match.
Talking to Coach Little, that's basically something they want to do, is take a strong attacking midfielder and convert them to a fullback, because the fullbacks are expected to essentially attack as midfielders.
Here's Anguiano. Line drive. Met at the back post and wide of net. That was Gonzalez on the header. Well, since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Klonowski has us back underway. Tacoma player was met in the air there. Robles pushing to the near side. Tried to loop it ahead.
That's twice now where Robles has just been barely off feeding Fawns up top.
Mueller surveys. Chris Hagart gets the ball back out wide. Hagart and Sota Kitahara, the only two players in Tacoma starting 11 who are still actively part of the Tacoma Defiance Academy. Pardon me, the Sounders Academy, which also is the Tacoma Defiance Academy, to clarify. And kind of a fun tradition that we've seen with Tacoma Defiance the past couple years, where the holding mids are usually academy youngsters. Danny Robles a few years ago was that guy. Villanueva. Well, T2's press has been relentless here over the first 10 plus. Not much space for Tacoma to maneuver.
Timbers 2 playing in a 4-4-2 so far this match.
Serrano cutting inside here. One more cut and a touch too much from Ray Serrano. Only as far as Robles though. Ocampo Chavez. Back out wide, Hagart combining with Serrano. And Tacoma turned away by Timbers 2 once more. Sissoko trying to go through on the ground. Laid inside for Robles. Nicked away from him. Mueller and Gonzalez in a foot race now. Mueller goes to ground, misses the ball. Gonzalez jumps over him, but doesn't have much in the way of support in the middle. Anguiano tried to go short for Epps. Hansen just going to let it run into touch for the throw-in. Lovely first touch from Hansen there. And Mueller decides to put that one into the cheap seats, hits the net and comes back. Hansen gone in for Epps. He's under pressure from Kitahara. Only as far as Malloy. Klanovsky probably here booming there, trying to get Tacoma forward. Epps has stayed on side, cross to the back post. Too high for Clapier. Aiden Stanley loses his footing but recovers to the ball. Anguiano dribbles through, gets for Stanley. It's one back, dealt away by a retreating Anthony Burke.
Excellent little dribble by Anguiano there to maintain space and break free from Danny Robles. He's an intriguing player because he's so strong on the dribble, but Timbers like to drop him deeper than you'd expect for somebody who's that good dribbling through pressure.
Stanley gone down after the ball's gone away. Referee playing advantage. Villanueva picks off the pass. Going to try to dribble clear. Has Double Air to his left. Hits the ball square. It's behind Double Air, holding up his run. Gone inside toward Robles. And he's immediately pressured. No space for Robles to work in the middle of the pitch right now, Dave.
No, Defiance will have to find him in open space.
Kitahara gone out wide here. Serrano chases to the goal line and can't get there. Dave, pardon the interruption.
That's okay. Ray Serrano's run was a lot more interesting than what I'll say. That was an interesting thought there from Tacoma. They're trying to break free wide where they've had space. That's good. Danny Robles, if he's inside of traffic like he's been so far, hasn't seen success. So trying to get Double Air or Serrano touches in those wide spaces where they can have a few yards to maybe take a dribble, possibly beat a man, and open up space.
Salt, booming kick down field toward Clapier. And gone out for a Portland throw-in along the far touchline. See Tacoma boss Chris Little there. Second season in control of the club. Also head of player development for the Sounders Academy. And a coach who certainly expects that his side will continue to put forth maximum effort despite Tacoma's elimination from the postseason. for Tacoma, Dave, these last couple matches of the year, always kind of an interesting time of the year. You're starting to see which guys might be considered in the academy for getting looks for Defiance contracts the upcoming season, and which guys on Defiance contracts might be having a shot to play their way to an MLS contract with Sounders FC.
Or as Denzel Ulysses did with Inter Miami.
Also true.
7 players in the past 19 months have gotten first-team deals, either with Seattle Sounders FC or Inter Miami CF. I think that's the shortest pass of Eric Klinowski's career. About 1 foot to the center back.
Malloy inside for Anguiano. Coming toward Gonzalez. Villanueva comes in hard and gets it away from him. And Villanueva going to have his hands full with Gonzalez, the man from Valencia, Spain today. 8 goals, 1 assist on the season. Big diagonal ball toward Epps. He gets a header to it, and Mueller once again just going to tuck it out of play along the near touchline. Hansen, the quick return from Epps. Now the low cross. That's beyond Klinowski. Clappier's there at the back post. Second ball coming in now. A push on the back, and that'll lead to a free clearance. Gonzalez really wanted to get to that ball and tried to go through a Defiance player to do it. Seems to have potentially hurt his hand as well. Well, be a part of the conversation and watch the drama unfold live when the USL Championship playoffs begin October 9th. Catch every match, every goal, every save, and every celebration on ESPN Plus on the way to the USL Championship Final, November 1st at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Back underway from Klinowski. So far, Dave, you have to say that most of the midfield possession has gone the way of Timbers, too.
Yeah, I was just checking the possession numbers, and it says Defiance has had 55% of the possession, but I think that so much of that has been between the back line and the defensive midfielders and ineffective in breaking down.
Another long ball for Serrano. This time he will get there, cuts it back, and wins a corner first of the day for Tacoma Defiance.
Ray's done a great job of running on to a long ball while I've been talking, which, again, we're here for the soccer.
Robles out to take it. Mueller and Sissoko coming forward, a goal each for them on the season. Robles, it's a high chip just beyond the head of Mueller. Mueller gets a foot to it. Sissoko tries to retreat to it, and Gonzalez knocks it clear. Right back in to Anthony Burke. He's going to loop it back over the top. Serrano is there, but so is Hunter Salt. And, well, between the two of them with the ball in the air, you have to favor Salt's chances there.
That's a halfling versus a Goliath.
Timbers 2 wanted to work quickly in transition. Gonzalez recovers to the ball, forces the heavy touch from Villanueva. Hansen got tripped up on his own feet there a little. This is Malloy. Anguiano. Epps, beyond Epps for Gonzalez. Hansen surveying. Strikes toward goal, and Klinowski does well, retreats, makes sure it's going to go over the crossbar, and lets it sail out of play. Now, the We Are Tacoma Team Store is open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Cheney Stadium, and always open online at wearetacoma.com/team store. That's weartacoma.com/team store. Buy the latest in Defiance scarves, shirts to show your Tacoma pride, and Defiantly Tacoma masks at the We Are Tacoma Team Store. Gotta say, Dave, those Defiantly Tacoma masks, quite cozy. And a little bit of a warming effect, which will certainly come in handy as the weather inevitably turns sour over these next couple weeks. But boy, for this being late September in the Pacific Northwest, this is about as good a day you could ask for a match.
Low 60s and sunny. It's just chilly enough. You saw Coach Little wearing a little sweater over his button-down top. We have fake summer coming in later this week, I've heard. A couple degrees over 80.
As is tradition. Maybe it's Mother Nature's way of a little bit of a restitution after a week of unbreathable air, something certainly that viewers tuning in up and down the Pacific Northwest will empathize with. Here's Hansen up the right side, picks out Gonzalez. Gonzalez, 3 defenders around him. And that crossed straight out of play for a goal kick. Dave, those smoky wildfire conditions actually affected one of these fixtures. That Thursday game last week was actually a replay from a game that should have been played, I believe, 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, there was one match missed for Tacoma Defiance due to air quality. It was a game down in Portland. That did get rescheduled, which resulted in both of these teams having a little less rest than they wanted before they faced their bitter rivals.
And for Tacoma, I mean, part of the thing that exacerbated the difficulties of that road trip, Dave, was in total 4 matches have been rescheduled a total of 5 times over the course of this season for them. And in a 16-match season, certainly Chris Little won't accept it as a justification for the club's performance, but you do have to admit, when professional athletics are so much about rhythm and mentality and being ready, disruptions of that nature and frequency can make the job that's already difficult very, very hard.
Even had one of their road matches at Reno where you had to monitor the air quality index to see if it went over the maximum allowable by USL Championship standards.
Villanueva wasn't certain if Epps was onside or not when the ball was struck, so he tucks it out for a corner. First one caused problems for Tacoma. We'll see if Portland can create another dangerous opportunity. It's Anguiano once more for the outswinger.
Tacoma's bringing back everybody, so they will not have a quick outlet.
Driven to the far side, Ikoba settling underneath it. Mueller heads it clear. As far as Malloy, reset to Stanley. Knocked down by Robles. Robles wants to strike a long ball to spring an attack. 2 players tangle up. Timbers come away with it. Anguiano. Epps. Tightly marked by Villanueva. Cutting to the inside and cutting it square to the far side for Stanley. Here's Gonzalez, who's inverted to the left. Now he lays it in for Epps. Epps on his right foot. That rattles around a couple defenders. Appeals for handball. And I think they might have gotten one just going against Portland. And we'll see if we're able to take another look at that. Klonowski sets us back underway. 25th minute here at Cheney Stadium, 0-0 between Tacoma Defiance and Portland Timbers 2. And Ikoba had a chance to play himself into space there, Dave, and that first touch let him down.
Yeah, I don't know what his touch was trying to do there, because that ball went off at a power and angle that I wouldn't have expected.
That one gets beyond Sissoko. It's rolling toward the corner flag and gone just out for a throw-in. Miscue between Robles and the French center back. Thrown in from Malloy. Sets himself free with his first touch. He'll carry on here. Round Serrano. Sliding challenge. Breaks up the ball at the goal line. Out for a throw-in. Back for Anguiano. Gone ahead now for Epps. Epps crossed on the ground. Klonowski has it, spills it, and Villanueva deals away at the back post.
That looked like it just slipped through his hands, almost as if the ball was just too wet for him to get a grip on.
Couple of chancy moments in a row now for Tacoma's back line. Portland looking to capitalize as we close in on the half-hour mark. Epps, overlap for Hansen. Lovely back heel there. He brings down all the ad boards, curled to the back post. Clappier's there, and it's knocked away. Well, Hansen should have yelled Tim Burr, taking down the entire row of advertising boards behind the goal. I have never seen that happen before, Dave.
We've seen one fall here, but never all of them.
We can hear the walkie-talkies now on the concourse. Well, someone's going to have to attend to that. Meanwhile, Tacoma has to attend to its defense, which has struggled a little bit these last couple minutes. Still managed to stave off a Portland side that is pressing for the opening goal.
Timbers 2 still willing to pressure high and hard up the pitch. If Defiance can break that down, they're going to manage to be successful.
Double air.
They just need to get through.
Turns well there, trying to roll it through for Alfonso Ocampo Chavez. And that one cut out on the backside by Williams Velasquez. And for Ornstill here.
Excellent job by Ray Serrano cutting that pass out.
Robles gone wide, double air, chance for a cross. Shoots it instead, puts it to the far post, and it's gone in! Ethan Double Air against the run of play opens the scoring. Tacoma lead 1-0 in the 28th minute.
And I'm looking forward to seeing this replay because I think he kind of tapped that with the outside of his boot. I just want to confirm that. Because if so, that was about as accurate a placement as you can have. Excellently threaded ball. And it looks like Solt managed to get about 2 fingers on it, but wasn't enough to push it wide of that far post shot.
Well, that was on as fine a margin as you can strike the ball and still score. Double air, such a young player, but something really special. And certainly the organization has noticed that's why he's on a Major League Soccer contract. Double air's first goal of the season with Tacoma. Comes at a big moment just before the half-hour mark, Dave.
That's Ethan's first goal as a professional as well. When he was up here last year and scored, he was on an academy contract.
Serrano turns inside. We'll see if that goal invigorates this Tacoma side. They certainly look like they're moving with a lot more confidence after the opening score. Sissoko up the touchline for Burke. Burke pressing forward, rolls that ball in, and Solt alert to it.
Fonz and Ray had just enough body on them from the Portland players. That slowed them down, so Solt was able to break through and just snag it out.
Klonowski calling off his defenders there. Here's Sota Kitahara. Double air. Inside for Hagart. Sissoko looking over the top. Velasquez there stretching the back line and managing to shield off his man, winning the goal kick. And I believe we have reached the first half hydration break. Tacoma Defiance leading 1-0 on the back of that goal a moment ago from Ethan Double-Air. This is a big opportunity for Tacoma, Dave, to get things sorted out, get everything squared away, and see what they can do to try to improve on this lead before halftime. For Portland, if you're head coach Cam Knowles, what are you saying to your side right now?
I just want them to execute a little bit better inside the area. They've had plenty of touches within the 18. They're getting solid penetration. Proper execution turns those touches into chances, and that's where they've lacked, is that final execution to pull off the shot.
And Tacoma, meanwhile, sure, it's only been 2.5 minutes since the ball hit the back of the net, but they have certainly showed marked improvement since that time. Let's take another look at that goal from Ethan Double-Air. Just look at the quality on this finish and the ball from Serrano to start it.
Yeah, Serrano starts it. Danny Robles gets that long pass off. Brilliant work, and Ethan knows that he's all there by himself, so he needs to put a shot in on goal.
Just a big, big moment. You can see the Tacoma players, sort of a breath of relief, a bit of a muted celebration for Double-Air after tucking the ball away. And you see there a couple of Tacoma Defiance faithful who've made the pilgrimage and are watching from a great social distance, not only from each other, but from the pitch as well.
Yeah, they're well away from the action and outside of the walls of the stadium.
A couple more people up on Tightwad Hill there, as the location is famously called.
They might have a better view if they pull up ESPN Plus on their mobile phone. Some interesting stats so far in this match. Earlier, Defiance had possession at 55% and looked poor while doing it. Now, possession at 50%, and they have the 1-goal lead.
Soccer is a funny game sometimes, Dave.
Possession, not predictive.
Boy, just how about that shot of Mount Rainier? We are truly spoiled living out here in the Pacific Northwest. Just one of the greatest things about matches here at Cheney Stadium, especially when you get these clear autumn days like this.
Now we're restarting after that hydration break.
Hunter Salt to get us underway with the goal kick. Curling ball, Ikoba ran up to it, couldn't quite get there. And Stanley pulled down, he wins a free kick right at midfield. Defiance leading 1-0. 12 and change to go until halftime. Here's Hansen. Anguiano looking over the top for Epps. Broken up by Burke and volleyed toward goal. A shot with bad intentions from Dyson Clapier. Pretty solid connection, just a little bit too much underneath it.
Cheney Stadium staff has put those boards back up.
Down there by Velasquez, along from Robles as far as Anguiano. Anguiano surges forward and just stopped immediately when he contacted Sissoko. Double-Air, sticks a foot in, won't get the ball though. Malloy doing well to keep it for his side. I'll try Clapier along the far side, and he can't keep it in play. It's become one of the cliches of our profession, Dave, but it really is true. Goals do change games, and sometimes if you're able to muscle your way to a goal against the run of play, it can completely change your fortunes in a match.
Yeah, it also demonstrated to Tacoma what they need to do to succeed, and that's break through the Timbers 2 defense quickly, move that ball rapidly. Danny Robles' pass probably traveled 45 yards to break free Ethan Dobelaire.
Sissoko under pressure here. Gone down the touchline. Robles has drifted out wide, and it's knocked away by Velasquez.
That pass by Sissoko, he had a body on him, and there's not many center backs that can make a pass like that while under pressure.
Robles trying to carry it through a couple of defenders here. He's stood up, knocked over in the box, not going to get the call. Serrano fights his way to the goal line, and that one cleared away. Robles feels that there was enough in it to warrant the call, but the man with the whistle for Dodko disagreed. Not an uncommon sight inside the penalty area, Dave.
Tacoma just trying to recycle, reset everything, work their way to more space.
Kitahara gone down the line, trying to spring Villanueva. What you might call an underlap.
Dobelaire and Villanueva have switched roles.
Now they've exchanged ways back. Clapier has it pressing forward. Sissoko trying to force him wide. His cross gets beyond Sissoko, but is knocked away by Mueller. Both these teams like to do what they can to spring those fullbacks and get them the opportunity to get forward. Aiden Stanley and Harold Hansen, 3 assists between the two of them for Timbers 2 this season. Anthony Burke, 2 assists of his own. Dobelaire comes inside. Here's Hagart. Ocampo Chavez drifting wide, pulling Orange still with him. Lays it back inside. Dobelaire could be in again. Goes for the far post and can't get it. Had a man there, and that was Chris Hagart, who could have nearly tucked this away. Here's another look.
Yeah, we take the other look. Fonz is pushed well wide, stands up his defender, and slips that ball in, and Ethan Dobelaire with the exact same angle, but just the opposite foot this time.
Nearly 2-0. And pretty much all the good stuff has run through Ethan Dobelaire out on that left side for Tacoma so far. Fans follow Tacoma Defiance and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Kitahara tackled away by Ikoba. Ikoba inside for Gonzalez, tried to knock it back to him. Robles, rare to see him lose track of the ball like that.
He's trying to pick out a target for his pass, but had no one ahead of him besides Alfonso Campos Chavez.
Hagart gone down the line. Ocampo Chavez is onside here. Dobelaire drifting to the back post. Ocampo Chavez on his left, now cuts back to the right. He shoots and puts it over the bar. But gets an ovation of support and appreciation from his bench over there on the far side.
Interesting little chop step there by Fonz to open up space. You'll see it here on a replay. Open, reverse, I like him being greedy there. He's the forward. He should be working to take those shots.
Yeah, great awareness from Ocampo Chavez. So important as an attacking player to know when you can just pull that quick cut back right after the defender closes their hips. Had Velasquez all turned around there, just couldn't put the end target on frame.
Plus, that'll force Portland to step up just a little bit closer on him in the future, and maybe next time he passes it off.
Worth noting that the side that has scored first has claimed victory in all 4 meetings between these two sides this season. Hansen cuts it in there. Gonzalez has gone down, not going to get the call. Epps has it, 4 defenders in front of him. And Robles quickly over the top. They're going to go route 1 to Ocampo Chavez. Velasquez and Salt do enough to run him off the ball. Now, Tacoma is a team that certainly likes to try to build out of the back, but if they have space and the opportunity, Ocampo Chavez has the foot speed.
Sometimes you have to take what the defense is giving you, and if the defense isn't going to allow you to possess in order to attack, go route 1 and get those shots off. Convert, score goals, win games.
There are very few sequences of play that look ugly when the ball's in the back of the net, at least from the perspective of the team that scored, and I think we're going to see our first caution of the afternoon. That's gone for Anguiano. And you have to think that might have just been more about accumulation and the number of fouls. There didn't seem to be anything particularly reckless in that challenge.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by a yellow at that point. This hasn't been a fierce match between the two sides. It's only the 8th foul in total for the game.
Either way, it leads to a set-piece opportunity for Danny Robles as he looks to drop this into the penalty area.
Sissoko is up, but Taylor Mueller is still back.
Robles lofts that ball along over the head of Sissoko, falls in. Ocampo Chavez strikes for goal, and it takes a deflection and bounces into the hands of Sult.
Fons forcing Sult to slow everything down.
And Sult sends away downfield. Kitahara brings it down, square to the outside for Serrano. Tacoma going to elect to retain possession here rather than try to force their way downfield.
Just going into a full reset into their preferred tactics.
Gonzalez wanted to go quickly for Epps. Instead, it's Hagart. He has a little bit of space to work with. He wants to switch the field of play towards Serrano. Got too much underneath it, and Velasquez tracks it down. Serrano does well again to just loop the ball over the top. He said, last time I did it, led to a goal. Why not give it a go?
Yeah, I think he surprised Ocampo Chavez with that one. Otherwise, AOC would have ran on the ball.
I think he surprised everyone with that one, Dave. Another long ball here. Orn still tracks it down. He'll head it back to Salt. 45th minute, Tacoma leading 1-0. Initial word is that we could expect about 2 minutes of stoppage time here in the first half.
The keeper-to-keeper goal kick.
And Klinowski more than happy to let a little more time run off the clock. Dave, if you're Tacoma, this first half, the way it's gone, you happy to take a 1-0 lead into the locker room at the break?
Yeah, they converted when they needed to. They changed the dynamic of the game, changed the game state. If I'm Coach Little, I'm going to say we continue that.
Gone over the top. Klinowski going to wave everyone off again, and it is 2 minutes of stoppage time that we'll play.
Klinowski doing everything he can to count those seconds down.
Sissoko, hard downfield. Serrano recovering to the ball. Kitahara, quick switch to the near side. Double air. Ocampo Chavez gone down off the ball. Waved away by the referee, and Kitahara, his cross blocked out, and the referee, I believe, having played advantage, is now going to award the free kick where Ocampo Chavez has gone down. Velasquez is booked here in stoppage time. Well, we saw the collision just kind of at the edge of our field of view as Double Air was looking downfield, and this is a very dangerous set piece, Dave, right in the middle of the pitch, about 35 yards out.
There will be a large wall of timber in front of Danny Robles' shot. They're basically ignoring the center referee at this point, setting up a wall halfway between the spot and the actual line where they're allowed to be. Sissoko in the offside location at the time.
Robles over the kick. What will he do with it? Just chips it over the wall. Ball falling down and knocked away by Anguiano inside the penalty area.
Crafty little play.
It certainly was going to be an awfully long way to try to beat that ball on frame with enough power to beat Salt.
Instead, that little golf chip tried to get Ray Serrano free.
Bit of a punch and run, as it were. Campos Chavez trying to win the ball back. Hansen has it. He's under pressure and is muscled off by Double Air. Hagart. And that is the whistle for halftime. Didn't quite sound the way you're accustomed to. But again, we're using slightly different whistles given the circumstances. Well, it is halftime. Tacoma Defiance lead 1-0. And Dave, despite a bit of a sluggish start, rebound well over those last 25 minutes.
Tacoma should be quite proud of how they performed near the end of that half. After the hydration break, they dominated and scored just prior to it. Coach Little will be happy going in with a 1-0 lead.
Well, we'll take a break. Again, Defiance lead Portland Timbers 2, 1-0 at the half. We'll be back after these messages here on ESPN+.
What a beauty! It's fantastic! Sensational! Fantastic! Any way you slice it. This one he puts away, fires and scores. What an unbelievable strike. Oh, what a goal!
There's the shot, it scores! Attacking, shooting, and scoring!
Oakland. The town.
A world-class city where it's not just about where you're going,
But it's also where you come from. See, here, there's always room at the top.
where sky's the limit.
But roots help keep you grounded. And this is town business. If you know, you know. Some might say it's rough around the edges.
But we all know that the flavors are in the margins. It's a family affair out here.
It's all eyes on we.
Hold it down for the people holding you up. These things matter to us.
It is Let's Go Oakland over and over and over again, where East Oakland and West Oakland meet.
Show the town love.
And the town will love you back. Oakland, forever.
Food, it brings us together, inspires joy, and gives us life. But we can't forget that during this crisis, over 37 million people don't have access to nutritious food. That's 1 in 12 seniors and 1 in 7 children. In fact, millions of kids aren't able to receive a free or reduced price school lunch right now. The good thing is, we can all help. Learn how you can get involved at feedingamerica.org. When we help each other, we nourish ourselves, our families, and our communities.
Have questions about the coronavirus?
I'm here to share some simple steps you can take to help protect yourself and others.
Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Wash your hands often with soap and water for 20+ seconds.
Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue.
Clean and disinfect surfaces and objects. Wash hands after touching commonly used items.
Together, we can help slow the spread.
At a time when kids may be confused by an invisible villain, there's an elite group helping them understand and be safe. They're fighting what's out there by staying in here. They are the Stay Heroes. Meet the Great Hygiene, expert at washing hands and disinfecting surfaces and objects. Dr. Distancio is a master of physical distancing and virtual playdates. And General Fields uncovers emotions and harnesses positivity. Your kids can become Stay Heroes too. Learn how at stayheroes.org.
"45 minutes gone, 45 left to go, but right now it is halftime at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington. Tacoma Defiance leading rivals Portland Timbers 2, 1-0 here on ESPN+. Welcome back, everybody. Andrew Harvey alongside Dave Clark for you. And Dave, it's been an entertaining 45 minutes of soccer so far.
Yeah, and even though there's only one goal, I think we can both say that there should be more chances than that. The last time these two have scored only one goal in a game was in 2018, all the way back in May of 2018, when Portland Timbers 2 beat Tacoma Defiance by a score of 1-0 here at Cheney Stadium. So we know there will be more goals.
Absolutely. So right now, this a close contest, and it is the only USL Championship match underway right now. Another kicks off in about a half hour or so. But there have been some other tight matches that have been played earlier this weekend, and we'll take a look at some of those score lines right now, Dave.
Yeah, in the playoff hunt, every match matters these days. The big ones that we need to call out are Phoenix Rising FC with the 1-0 win over Orange County. That sends Phoenix to the playoffs, likely the top of their group. And that means the Reno 1868 FC and Sacramento Republic match that was a 1-1 draw, those two are battling to try to avoid Phoenix Rising and get the Group B number 2 team.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at those Group A standings right now. Of course, both Timbers 2 and Defiance already eliminated, but with a win today, Defiance could get off the bottom of the table. The big number right there is points. Reno on 32, Sacramento on 27, which means that with at least a draw against Las Vegas Lights on Wednesday night, Reno could lock up the top seed and, like you said, avoid Phoenix Rising FC. Meanwhile, Group B, their second playoff slot, wide open for the taking.
Yeah, it is only that Vegas team that has been eliminated so far. So a big competition there in Group B to see who will be the other playoff team.
Worth mentioning there, a slight typo. Tacoma Defiance, 13 matches played, so they do still have a game in hand, in part due to all those reschedules that we mentioned in the first half. Well, 2020 has been a very difficult year for many of us, and it is with heavy hearts now that we have to relate to you that we at Tacoma Defiance and We Are Tacoma have lost two local legends earlier this month. Former broadcaster and broadcasting legend Bob Robertson and former Tacoma Mayor Harold Moss both passed away earlier this year. We're broadcasting from the Bob Robertson booth at Cheney Stadium. He is a man whose career and life are iconic and emblematic of everything that this team and community should hold up. And his iconic catchphrase, always be a good sport and be a good sport always. Truly, his loss is a great one within our community.
And the other loss, unfortunately, last week, 90 years old, Dr. Harold Moss, the former mayor of Tacoma, former Tacoma council member, civil rights icon and activist that fought against redlining here in the Tacoma area, passed away again at the age of 90. He gave us a good hour of his time last year to just talk about what it meant to be a black leader in Tacoma, and his representation and presence will be missed by all the people of Tacoma.
Absolutely, and if we, again, at Tacoma Defiance and the We Are Tacoma family, want to express to both the families of Harold Moss and Bob Robertson our deepest sympathies and our profound appreciation for their contributions to help make Tacoma the very special place that it is. We'll be back after this.
At a time when kids may be confused by an invisible villain, there's an elite group helping them understand and be safe. They're fighting what's out there by staying in here. They are the Stay Heroes. Meet the Great Hygiene, expert at washing hands and disinfecting surfaces and objects. Dr. Distancio is a master of physical distancing and virtual playdates. And General Fields uncovers emotions and harnesses positivity. Your kids can become Stay Heroes too. Learn how at stayheroes.org.
Of questions about the coronavirus?
I'm here to share some simple steps you can take to help protect yourself and others.
Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Wash your hands often with soap and water for 20+ seconds.
Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue.
Clean and disinfect surfaces and objects. Wash hands after touching commonly used items.
Together, we can help slow the spread.
Food, it brings us together, inspires joy, and gives us life. But we can't forget that during this crisis, over 37 million people don't have access to nutritious food. That's 1 in 12 seniors and 1 in 7 children. In fact, millions of kids aren't able to receive a free or reduced price school lunch right now. The good thing is, we can all help. Learn how you can get involved at feedingamerica.org. When we help each other, we nourish ourselves, our families, and our communities.
You're the engine that makes all things go, and you're always in disguise, my hero. I see your light in the dark, smile in my face when we all know it's hard. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now, know that you matter.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back into Cheney Stadium here in Tacoma, Washington. Just about set for the start of the second half between Tacoma Defiance and Portland Timbers 2, Defiance leading 1-0. Well, that's the action that we've had so far here at Cheney Stadium, but it's time now for us on ESPN Plus to take a look at what's going on around the rest of the USL Championship. And Dave, obviously the broadcast note about the championship match this season, the headline item.
Obviously, yeah, November 1st, here 2:30 Pacific time. You won't be watching on ESPN Plus. You'll be watching the USL Championship final on ESPN or ESPN Deportes. Your choice. Watch either one. It's going to be a great match between some quality sides in the USL Championship in 2020.
Absolutely, and some of the players on those sides definitely in heavy contention for the end-of-season awards as we're starting to come up with our short lists.
Yeah, my short list for MVP is going to be Junior Flemings, though with two other great rising performances. Maybe Tyler Pasher out in Indy 11 gets that MVP nod.
Absolutely, and of course, a Defiance player potentially in the mix for Young Player of the Year as well, forgive me, is Alec Diaz, currently on the bench so far, 5 goals and 1 assist to his name this season.
Yeah, if he gets hot here in the final week, we'll see him on that short list. If not, then someone else will reach out and grab that award.
And then, of course, obviously with the roster freeze coming late last week, it was a couple deals managed to get snuck over the line right before the deadline.
Yeah, former U.S. men's national team player Ruben Rubio already won a Player of the Week award. And then Damian Lowe, who we saw here with Sounders 2, now known as Tacoma Defiance, is with Phoenix Rising. And that player spent some time in Europe and now looks to earn himself a USL championship.
Well, just 1 goal to show for it so far, but there's been some good action here in the first half. Let's take a look now at our first half highlights.
And here you see Ray Serrano with a good little chip, and Danny Robles with the long feed to break Ethan Dobelaire into space to put that in goal. Ethan kind of surprised himself. I think the rest of the team was happier than he was with that celebration.
A big moment. First professional goal, as you mentioned. Already scored 1 in Defiance colors back when he was an academy player.
And just a few seconds later, he finds himself less than a minute later with almost the exact same angle going in on goal.
So 1 goal to show for 45 minutes of soccer. We'll see if there's more in the tank. And we'll see how these first 5 to 10 minutes of this second half manifest themselves as we are set to resume play. Defiance moving from left to right on your screen here in the second half. And they want to go quickly. So the goal for Dobelaire, again, only 2 yellow cards issued, both the Timbers 2. Anguiano and Velasquez in the referee's book after 45 minutes of play. Welcome back in on ESPN Plus. Andrew Harvey alongside Dave Clark for you here for the second half.
Tacoma going their preferred direction. They love to score going south.
That's the section that would be the supporters' end if fans were able to be here. And of course, we're noting that Defiance have only had 1 game in front of fans all season. Their second game was played behind closed doors shortly before the league announced its suspension back in March. Dave, for Timbers 2 and head coach Cam Knowles, I mean, they had so much that they were doing right in that first half, but no goal to show for it. And then a quick defensive breakdown in transition. They're down a goal. What has to change in the second half?
If I'm Cam Knowles, I want my team to close down faster on those long ball opportunities. They've allowed Danny Robles and Ray Serrano to kind of spray the ball a little bit, close on them faster, so that Tacoma can't take advantage of that transition game that they've done well at so late in the first half.
And from a Tacoma perspective, certainly they'll be happy to have the goal. They might think they're a little hard done by. Maybe they should have had at least 1 more in that first half, but you have to imagine that Chris Little will not be happy trying to defend a 1-0 lead.
No, these are 2 teams that score goals. They score a lot of goals. Tacoma has been very effective at scoring. It's the defense where they've been fragile here in 2020. So if I'm Coach Little, and especially if I'm assistant coach Wade Weber, I want to hang on to the shutout.
Timbers 2, meanwhile, just looking to close things up at the back. That goal they conceded, their 45th of the season through 14 and a half, we should say, matches. That is a USL championship high. Well controlled there. It's double air. Can't quite carry through the challenge from Hansen. Tacoma retains the throw.
Chris Hager made a bursting run through, but Dobelair couldn't dribble through all those trees.
Struck there. Here's Anthony Burke. He's worked his way forward and has his pocket picked by Velasquez. Well, up to 5 substitutions available for each side in today's contest, Dave. And Tacoma, it's a bit of a short bench, but there's plenty of quality on it.
Yeah, it's all attacking players, essentially.
Robles pulls it back on the left side. Here he shoots and puts it wide of the post. Pardon me there, Dave, the action taking us away a little bit. But again, this Tacoma bench, lots of players who can come contribute. And we'll get to that after this replay. Just a quick move from Robles.
Yeah, nifty little sequence. Portland tries to clear it out. Robles just couldn't get the curl on that ball that he needed.
Sissoko gone over the top. Ray Serrano step for step with Aiden Stanley. Serrano cuts top side. Serrano squares it toward Robles, and a big block from Harold Hansen. Well, that is clutch defending. Now Malloy looking to spread things out here. Gone wide, Clapier. Dribbles in, he's upended, and waved back to his feet, much to the chagrin to the visitors.
Surprised a few people with that. I feel like both teams kind of paused for a moment.
I think everyone paused. I think everyone was expecting Farad Dodko to award a penalty there. We'll see if we can get another look at it. Cameron Knowles still standing with his arms outstretched over there on the far touchline. He wants an explanation. Meanwhile, Tacoma works it to the far side. Anguiano for Epps. Free kick there, but let's take a look at that penalty shout from a moment ago. And Dave, your thoughts on this, yes or no?
See the dribble into space, and yeah, I'm still surprised that wasn't called.
The only thing I can say is it certainly looks like Clapier was looking for contact there and might have gone down a little bit easily, but I'll say this, in my broadcast career, I've certainly seen that given, and I've certainly seen it not given, so I guess that's another tally in the not given column. In either case, it remains 1-0, Timbers 2, still looking to work here. Gonzalez gets that through. Epps, pressure on his back, squares it across the face of goal. Clapier's there at the backside. Klinowski with a save at the right post. Clapier, 2 good chances in the span of 2 minutes.
I think that's the first time you've had to shout Klinowski's name for a save.
Yeah, he's been active inside his penalty area, but he hasn't had too much to do in terms of keeping the ball out of the back of the net so far. Gonzalez lays off for Anguiano. Wide for Stanley. Timbers 2 will recycle. Gone over the top for Stanley. He's got some space here. Sissoko slow to close, and Stanley did not reach it in time. Great effort from Stanley, but not enough to get it to the head of Gonzalez before it went out of play.
That being the only save is kind of why I think Cam Knowles will be frustrated with his attacking side today. They've had plenty of possession within dangerous spaces, but haven't converted those to shots.
definitely both these young sides. That's one of the major things about the professional game at this level here in the American Second Division. Ball over the top. Ocampo Chavez races forward to meet it. He's there. He's onside. Can he cut it back to his teammate? He cannot. The ball gone out for a goal kick. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, and Rodney Marsh. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM FC, channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. Hansen, again, far downfield. A couple of players collide, and it was scooped out of play by Villanueva, who has acquitted himself well at left back. Definitely a bit of a tough test between Epps and Hansen. This is Epps. His cross blocked, falls for Anguiano. Short for Epps. Epps, a lot of options across the face of goal. He cuts the ball back, all the way back to Stanley. Now wide for Gonzalez. Gonzalez turns, works his way to the middle. Epps, wide now for Hansen, ball's behind him. Epps chips it through, and that bounces into Klinowski. He was looking for Ikoba. More sustained pressure just now from Portland, but Tacoma's back line stands strong, gets it away.
We're seeing something that we don't normally see from Defiance. Often Kitahara will drop between the two center backs. At this time, he's been out wide.
Ball down the line, gets beyond everyone. It's going to stay in play. And Stanley doing enough to escort it. Dodko making sure that Stanley takes the throw-in from where the ball went out of play. More or less.
Less than more.
Well turned there by Ikoba. Epps couldn't read the run. Well marshaled by Taylor Mueller. We mentioned in the first half, his signing this year was to be that calming influence on the back line. Help bring more composure back there. Has he done that in your mind, Dave?
I think Mueller's had a strong day. His communication with Sissoko is working out well. And if Cameron Knowles isn't happy with his team's ability to pull shots off, I think that Coach Little will be very happy, because that means that Sissoko and Mueller are doing what they can along that back line.
Anthony Burke. Inside for Robles. Pass comes behind Double Air. That takes him well wide and into touch, as a matter of fact.
That's one where Ethan won't even need to see the tape on it. He'll already know that was a mistake on his part. Defiance are starting to warm up some bodies, possibly looking ready for a sub soon.
Yeah, man management going to be so important for Tacoma over this last stretch, again, due to those reschedulings. Very, very congested final 10 days or so of the season. They played last Thursday, they're playing today, they'll play Wednesday, and they will play next weekend as well. So you can certainly expect that Chris Little likely expects to make the most of those 5 substitutions available to him today. Ball in for Sissoko.
A little too casual there. with the man on him. And Timbers, too, now have their whole bench warming up as well.
Getting to that phase of the match. This definitely still a scoreline where someone could come on and make the difference. Villanueva chips it back to Mueller. Hagart, upended, winds up taking down a Timbers 2 player with him. Now it's gone wide for Epps. Epps, his cross blocked at the point of attack and out for a throw-in. Another big stop from Taylor Mueller.
If you're trying to keep track of whether Dobelaire or Villanueva are the left back at any given moment, it'll be difficult. Those two are switching on nearly every possession now.
Hansen can't quite get a hold of it. Now this could be something for Tacoma. Robles up the left side. Ocampo Chavez racing ahead to meet the ball. He'll turn back under pressure. Cuts it into space. Burke wide for Serrano, strikes for goal and can't put it on frame. Once again, that quick strike ability of Tacoma Defiance showing itself in transition, but in the end, no shot on target. And the We Are Tacoma team store is open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Cheney Stadium, and always open online at wearetacoma.com/team store. That's weartacoma.com/team store. Buy the latest in Defiance scarves and shirts to show your Tacoma pride, and Defiantly Tacoma masks also available, all online and in person at the We Are Tacoma team store. Robles, double air, Kitahara, Hagart, Villanueva now. He wants to press his chances. His cross blocked, gone out for a throw-in. Well, we've hit the hour mark at Cheney Stadium. Defiance leading 1-0, 30 minutes to play. And Dave, these first 15 minutes of the second half have been eventful, but still, to my knowledge, just one shot on goal total.
Yeah, it was the one shot, Klonowski's only save of the day.
Malloy smashes that ball into space. Ikoba went for the scorpion flick, as it were, to control it. Still on the ball, here's Ikoba. He tries to send it off Sissoko and has won a corner. Just a wonderfully inventive move from Ikoba to even try to bring that ball from Malloy under control. Now it'll be Anguiano. Ball to the back post. Initial header, Sissoko. Ocampo Chavez brings it under control. Hansen's right there. Wins it cleanly. Hansen into the area. Mueller slides in and gets it off of him. And Hansen, that's a frustration foul right there, and he'll see yellow for that. Here in the 62nd, after chopping down Hagart along the far side.
I don't know that I've seen a yellow card in the hand so fast as the center referee pulled there. I think it was in his hand before the whistle even blew.
So Hansen joins his two teammates in the book. And of course, a bit of a professional foul from Hansen there to try to break up what could have been a quick breaking play up the left side.
You see Fons with a quick little dribble. Hansen breaks into space, dribbles Kitahara, dribbles Villanueva, and it's Taylor Mueller that has to save the day.
And Hansen well aware of what he's doing there.
And we have had a substitution during the pause. On is Kralicki.
And off goes Ikoba. So our first change of the day comes for Timbers 2. Kralicki, Japanese-American, making his 7th appearance of the season for Timbers 2.
And that looks like a possession move. Taking off a forward and putting on a defensive midfielder.
And as Kralicki there, getting his first touches in combination with Malloy. Kralicki. Hansen tries the middle. Hagart wins it. Villanueva turns back under pressure. Kitahara run down from behind there. Free kick conceded by Kralicki. More inventive stuff from Double Air along the far touchline. Long throw to Ocampo Chavez. He does battle with Hansen. Cut back for Villanueva. Over hit for him. Now a quick square inside. It's Clapier. And one right back by Hagart. Out wide. Double Air has Serrano with the back post. Double Air squares it back toward Ocampo Chavez. Tough to blame him for finding the man who appeared to be unmarked. There were a lot of bodies between he and Serrano. Quick turn from Epps. Clapier thrown down by Mueller. And that a pretty easy call for the referee. Anguiano gone short for Gonzalez. Now wide for Stanley. Gonzalez working here. Robles wins it away. And Gonzalez wins it right back. He has a go. Klinovsky goes to ground. Can't hold the rebound, though. It'll be a corner. Well, those balls, they kind of have eyes, those low ones from long range, Dave. You have to make sure that you stop the ball. That's the most important part. And in the end, just got a little bit squirrely on Klinovsky.
Yeah, that's the second time that he's had a ball go through his gloves. That's not typical for your keeper at this level.
Corner from Anguiano. Lofted ball, a lot of backspin. Velasquez looked to get ahead to it. Ornstill gets there, turns to the side. Sissoko bowls him over, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Abdoulaye will use those hips and shoulders to knock a man over inside the area quite readily. As long as you're perfect at that, the coach won't mind. One mistake, though.
Yeah, it takes a good eye and great timing to make sure that you're sending the contact in shoulder to shoulder. Sissoko doing it well there. Double Air. Tried to scoop that into the middle. Couldn't get it to go. Now Malloy gone wide for Clapier. Clapier wanted to cut it hard outside where Epps was lurking in space. Now Robles right in the middle. Doesn't have an option to his right. Tries to go through for Ocampo Chavez, who knew he was offside there.
And not only was he offside, I think he got his foot stepped on a little bit because he was moving gingerly for a moment.
A well-weighted pass there for Hansen. knocks it forward for Epps, and just too long for him. Well, the USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent. Following the success of the first Academy Cup events, clubs can now apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off in spring 2021. For more information, visit usl-academy.com or search hashtag USL Academy on social media. Here's Double Air in the left alley. Cuts it in, Serrano, his scoop, pulls the ball back out. Kitahara. Pressure on his back. Ocampo Chavez. Drifting to his left. Has a little bit of space here, does Ocampo Chavez. Tried for the quick give and go. Couldn't get it to go with Robles. Kitahara under pressure. Back heel scoop and knocked clear by Stanley. 2 Tacoma Defiance subs waiting for their chance to enter the match. Alec Diaz, Marlon Vargas will enter in the offing.
Well, they're eager to come on. I think Coach Little won't mind this possession at all.
Sissoko wants to go long again. Robles trying to stretch out this back line. He'll go down. And it looks like a foul has been given. Assistant referee signaled for one. It was a delayed whistle from the referee. And for Robles, that might be, or pardon me, that is Ray Serrano who has been fouled.
And it's Ray Serrano who's down. He's clutching his foot or his ankle, but it's Danny Robles, one of the subs, coming off.
Stanley issued the yellow card here in the 70th minute. Let's take another look at that. I didn't see anything in this on the initial glance, Dave.
No, I just thought he missed stride.
Just a
little hand pulling him back.
And if you see that right leg, just a little bit of a clip there, and that is enough. Stanley will feel a bit hard done by. 4th Timbers 2 player booked. And those 2 changes will occur now. Danny Robles and Alfonso Ocampo Chavez coming off. Alec Diaz and Marlon Vargas coming on with 20 minutes to go.
Ray Serrano is back up and mobile again.
He is standing over this free kick along with Chris Hagart. Hagart strikes it low into the wall. Second ball played off of Serrano. And another foul, this time at midfield.
With 3 yellow cards along his own back line, I'm wondering if Coach Knowles is going to change up his substitution plan.
And his bench that he has available today, less involvement, you'd say, as Alec Diaz is flagged offside there. Only one outfield player for Tacoma has fewer than 10 appearances on the list of substitutes. Meanwhile, only one player on Cameron Knowles' bench has more than 10 appearances this season. That is, of course, Giovanni Calixtro, who might be the magical elixir as Timbers 2 are chasing an equalizer here in the 72nd. Here's Kralicki. Gone wide for Hansen. Hansen dancing to the inside, lays it back. Kralicki fires, and that one took a touch on its way through, out for a corner. 5th of the game for the visitors.
So far in this match, we haven't seen Tacoma Defiance play with anyone high to counter off of a corner.
Kick on its way to the back post. Klonowski gets there, but only punches it straight up. Diaz does well to shuffle it away, allow Klonowski time to recover. Malloy striking it back in. Anguiano is there. He's onside. Drops it back to Epps. Kralicki looking to turn. Gonzalez looking to settle. And now a long floating ball to the near side. Anguiano is there, but so too is Anthony Burke. Thrown in for Gonzalez. Epps under pressure. Diaz wins it away, scoops it to Marlon Vargas. And Vargas going on a long run here. Well, you talk about individual efforts. That is a tremendous clearance from Marlon Vargas, who just subbed on moments ago. Was carrying the ball clear under duress. Kralicki picks out Anguiano. Gone square for an overlapping Gonzalez. Epps. Well struck for Hansen there. That's a heavy touch from Hansen. Well, he'll be disappointed with that. And we'll see another change for Tacoma Defiance. On comes Azriel Gonzalez. And he will replace... Oh, pardon me, Dave. I've lost track of the substitute there.
Azriel came on for Ethan Dobler, today's only goal scorer.
Oh, probably not a good one to have lost track of that, Dave.
And immediately, Ozzy wins a throw-in very deep.
Still just the one change for Timbers 2. With 15 minutes in stoppage left to play, they trail 1-0 to Tacoma Defiance here at Cheney Stadium. Villanueva chops that ball back. It's behind Serrano. He's going to try to track it down. Gonzalez turned back under pressure. Timbers 2 passing under duress. Kralicki, great control there. Velasquez cuts it back, and Solt knocks it away. That, I think, probably one of his first involvement in open play, I should say, in this half. Well, Chris Hagart, well aware of what he was doing there. He'll draw the yellow card here in the 76th.
Of the tactical fouls we've seen today, that was the one that was safest for the opponent, as he just basically grabbed the T2 player by both hands and slowed him down.
It's quite possible Hagart was thirsty and knew that it was time for the second half hydration break, which it is. Fans, you can follow Tacoma Defiance and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, and UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Well, on the other side of this break, probably about 13 minutes of play and stoppage time to go. Dave, Tacoma, 3 of their 5 possible changes have been made. And you can tell from the tone of the substitutes, Chris Little wants more goals.
He definitely wants more goals. In these teams' 21 meetings, only 3 times has a match ended 1-0. And in no opportunities in those 21 has the match ended in a draw. So if you're tuning in, don't tune out. There will be more goals. I'm promising you that.
Referee summoning the players back to the pitch. Chris Little going to take as much time as he dares, as it were. Just trying to make sure that his back line, his defense, all on the same page here. Timbers 2 will restart with a free kick just past midfield. It'll be the man from Ireland, Aaron Malloy, over the ball. Malloy goes on the ground for Epps. Epps gets the return. Anguiano for Kralicki. Here's Stanley. Anguiano looking for space. Dribbles left. His cross blocked at the point of attack. Gonzalez spins in and was hoping to win a corner kick, I should say. Couldn't quite get it to deflect. And you're going to start to see Klinowski do what he can to milk the clock here. Going to be very particular about where he places down the ball. That's one of those things that when it's your keeper doing it, if you're a fan of Tacoma Defiance, then you're perfectly okay with this. It's very important he picks the right spot. And if you're a Timbers 2 fan, it's the sort of thing that can drive you batty.
At the same time, immediately losing possession like that doesn't kill off much clock.
Tacoma going to have to put in a very professional final 11 plus. Malloy settles underneath that. Kralicki under pressure. Sissoko's been drawn very far forward. Diaz pokes it away. Now it's Gonzalez, and he is chopped down at midfield. Hansen on a yellow card. Just a foul, nothing more, and certainly not warranting of anything else, but that's one of those moments when you're a defender already on a yellow and you commit another foul. You always glance over at the referee, see what his hands are doing. Gonzalez is onside here. Absorbs the contact from Hansen, tried to win the corner, and has done so. Just the second of the match for Tacoma. And it will be Azriel Gonzalez, the recent substitute, to take it. Sissoko coming forward. Taylor Mueller, once again, as I'm sure you're about to point out, staying back. Curling in beyond Sissoko, who left the foot up there. Going to stay in for Diaz. He lets it run. Tacoma throw. Towards Serrano. Serrano not given much space to work. Defended by Malloy. Does really well to get the inside line there. Draws the free kick.
Serrano kind of surprised how he was able to knock Malloy over. There's a substantial difference in size.
Ball over the head of Sissoko. Bit of contact with Epps. Mueller cuts it back to Klinowski, who's going to play this. Doesn't have an option to the left side, so he's just going to chop this downfield. Gonzalez is there, but it will skip out of play.
Gonzalez had enough of a body on Hansen that Hansen couldn't play the ball, but not enough freedom to win it himself.
Hansen, lovely turn. Draws the free kick as well from a hard-charging Sota Kitahara. Swung to Stanley on the near side. Ahead for Anguiano. Gonzalez. Anguiano loops it inside, and Epps just can't collect the ball at his feet. Gone out for another goal kick, and we'll see Klinowski play quickly here, in fact. Saw something that he wanted to take advantage of, perhaps. Too long for Diaz. You have to imagine that wasn't it. Could fall in here for Vargas, though. Entering that stage of the match now, Dave, where Portland, desperate for an equalizer, might wind up overexposing themselves as they send more and more numbers forward. Serrano chops that ball in. Hansen has it. Falling toward Vargas. He and Clapier do battle. Timbers get the ball cleanly. And now send it into space for Gonzalez. That is a long ball. It will be too long for him.
That's one of those balls that a player may be able to chase down about 15 minutes into the match, but they're not going to chase it down 83rd minute of the game.
Another change now for Portland Timbers 2. Into the match comes Fuddy Danzo for his 4th appearance of the season, and he will replace Harold Hansen.
Timbers, too, had a little bit of an injury-plagued mid-season here in 2020 and signed Footy Danso during that. If you've been following North American soccer, you know Footy Danso. He's been around for quite some time with the Portland Timbers organization.
He's slotted in at center back. Timbers 2 now playing 3 at the back. Velasquez, Ornstill, and Danso. Epps crosses that ball in. Klonowski holds it. So Portland has released Stanley, it looks like anyway, to go up that left side. Both teams vying for control. Malloy, a rare miss-hit from him. Serrano squares it for Villanueva. Gone out wide, Gonzalez is there. Gonzalez charging forward. The overlap. Villanueva. And a big breakup from Ornstill to concede the corner. But that cross had bad intentions written all over it, Dave.
Excellent teamwork there by Ezreal Gonzalez and Alex Villanueva. Worked well together within the space. And Ornstill saved what should have been a potent cross. Here you see Ezreal Gonzalez fakes the dribble.
Corner kick comes inside. Diaz gets a foot to it and can't hold it in. Gone out for a goal kick. Salt clearance lets him down. Diaz has it, charging right at Danzo. Option to his left, cuts it for Gonzalez, racing to it. He scoops it past him and into the goal. 2-0 Tacoma Defiance. And that one coming late in the 85th minute. Defiance looking certain to take all 3 points at home.
Salt is going to regret the entire sequence. That started because of his misplay, putting it right at Alec Diaz's feet, who had one man to beat and decided instead of beating Footy Danso on his own, you see him here, he just drops it off. And Ezreal Gonzalez leaps onto it in traffic. Timbers 2 had 2 defenders and Salt there. None of them managed to play the ball.
Well, just such a green light you saw in the eyes of Alec Diaz. As soon as that ball from Salt landed at his foot, you knew exactly where he was going to go. Initially didn't almost look like that little layoff to Gonzalez was going to have the juice to reach him, but he does well. That last little burst of speed, like you said, right into the grinder and tucks it away cleanly. 2-0 Tacoma.
Viewers at home, I promised you more goals. You got a goal.
The rare instance of the broadcaster's blessing, Dave. Kralicki gonna lock that ball long, and you can expect to see a lot of that out of Timbers 2 these last couple minutes. Mueller tucks it out for another corner. For Gonzalez, his 2nd goal on the season, 2nd assist for Alec Diaz now. Anguiano set for this outswinger. Driven ball into traffic. Gonzalez got a foot to it, and that one has trickled into the net. It's 2-1.
And I'm looking forward to that replay because that seemed to go right through a bunch of Defiance players.
Not sure if someone got a touch to it after Jorge Gonzalez. Those corners from Anguiano have been dangerous all afternoon. This one finally getting beyond Klonowski. Well, this now at 2-1, a very different match. Tacoma's back line. Need to tighten up these last couple minutes. Danzo shepherds the ball out for a goal kick.
It's going to be hard for Alec Diaz to round that big of a tree there in Fudi Danzo.
Solt, much more solid contact with this goal kick. Velasquez. That's fatigue settling in right there, Dave. Just that stage of the match now where your body doesn't follow the commands that you think your brain is giving it. Tacoma wanting to make their final change. They're being waved to play on by the referee. Diaz gone down there, scoops the ball back up between his legs. Now Chino Perez checking in now. Along, I believe, with Danny Reynolds, who's slotting in. Ray Serrano and Chris Hagart leaving. They wanted to take the long way across the pitch. Of course, the referee, wise to the amendment to the laws of the game this past year, saying, yes, leave by the nearest available boundary line, as we're midway through the 90th minute now.
A hydration break, as well as 2 goals scored. We'll probably see, I'm going to guess 3 minutes. We'll see that sign show up shortly, though. I'm wrong. It's going to be 4 minutes of stoppage time.
And we are into the first of those minutes now. Tacoma Defiance had what felt like a comfortable 2-0 lead. They were bossing the second half, and then quickly on a corner kick, they pulled it back within 1. Now another dangerous opportunity as Clapier takes this ball from Gonzalez. Oren still back wide for Clapier. He carries on. Cross in the middle. Epps, Klanowski with a point-blank save, and it's turned away. The rebound shuffled away downfield, but Klanowski comes up big. I think he stopped that with his chest, Dave.
Yeah, that was an excellent save and smart play by Defiance, just clearing that out, getting able to reset everything.
Timbers 2 throwing everything forward now here in second half stoppage time. Clapier doing battle with Villanueva. And that one had trickled out of play before he had a chance to get his foot to it. Restarted quickly. Here's Malloy. Gone directly. Gonzalez. Anguiano and Stanley. Stanley's low cross. Mueller pops that ball up. Malloy underneath it, back forward toward Anguiano. Stanley combines with Anguiano. Lunging challenge, doesn't get the ball off of him. Malloy into the middle, his shot's blocked.
I think by his own man on that one.
Villanueva wins it away. Tacoma hoping to just break this wave of pressure that Portland has put on them these last 5 minutes.
Tacoma desperately needs some possession here so they can calm things down.
Kralicki wants to go through for Epps. It's cut out well by Villanueva. Sends that ball as far as Danzo. Switched over to Oren still. Up for Epps. Loop back inside. Reynolds comes charging in, wins the ball cleanly. Kralicki has it right back, and he is fouled at midfield by Azriel Gonzalez.
And if you're looking for Footy Danzo, he's now taken the spot of a center forward.
Well, certainly. If you lose 2-1 or 3-1, it's 0 points all the same. Timbers hoping to bludgeon in a second goal here for the equalizer. The goalkeeper, Salt, past midfield to take this free kick. Cuts it square to Kralicki. Kept on the ground as far as Malloy. Malloy for Epps. His cross loops into the middle, turned to the back post and sailing wide. Velasquez got his head to it but couldn't put it on frame. And now Klinowski dealing with some discomfort. He says he's fit to continue.
Which is very good because Tacoma Defiance have used every single sub.
True enough. We've reached the end of the advertised 4 minutes of stoppage time. How much further will referee Farad Dodko have us go? One there by Orenstill. Villanueva charges forward to tackle for it. Now the overlap. It's reached Clapier. He's pressing forward. Wide now for Epps. Reynolds intercepts the ball, sends it downfield. And on we go. Malloy under pressure. Cuts it to Kralicki. Farad Dodko glances at his watch. Kralicki sends a long ball looking for Epps along the far side. Epps marked step for step. Big cross to the backside. Stanley is there. He heads it back into contention. Turned here by Gonzalez. Shouldered off the ball. Back as far as Kralicki. And the final whistle sounds. Tacoma Defiance. Well, let it get a little bit interesting there in the final 5 minutes of play, but they hold on in stoppage time. Gonzalez unhappy that the match was stopped at that point, but Tacoma Defiance winning the 5-match series, I could say, against Portland Timbers 2 on the year, and winning here by a score of 2-1. Dave, exciting ending.
Yeah, Timbers 2 did an excellent job of pressuring late. They're still having a conversation with the center referee about why the whistle when they were possessing in the attack. And that'll continue. But I think what Tacoma Defiance have to take solace in is they've started this home stretch with a victory. They ended that 9-game, 71-day gap bookends with wins, both over Portland. So they'll have to feel good about that. They know that they got their 2 goals. And it looks like currently, according to USLChampionship.com, Azriel Gonzalez is credited both with the game-winning goal as well as an own goal against on that corner kick.
Well, that'll certainly be one for the statisticians to unpack, but Tacoma won't be too bothered by it. Again, 3 big points here, and you see the Defiance players in a bit of a break from tradition going over to thank the fans over on Tightwad Hill who've come to observe the match from afar rather than in front of the supporters end where they might normally. And just a big, big day for Tacoma. Professional performance. That last goal, obviously, not one they'll have been happy to have conceded, but like you said, to just break up that tough run that they've been through. And of course, 3 points over your rival is always a pleasant day.
No time to bathe in the glory. Match on Wednesday night here on ESPN+. Match on Saturday night on ESPN+.
Absolutely. Portland Timbers 2 have 1 match remaining. They're at Sacramento Republic FC, and that is on October 3rd. But like you said, Tacoma Defiance at home twice in this final week, once against Sacramento on Wednesday and once against Reno next weekend. Dave, an exciting day for Tacoma Defiance and a big 2-1 win at home. Goals from Ethan Doubelaire and a very composed finish in traffic from Azriel Gonzalez. Well, that is going to do it for us here from Cheney Stadium. For Dave Clark, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long. Thank you for joining us here on ESPN+, and we hope to see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.